Hello everyone and welcome to my Y&R Insider 24 update channel. Michael's loyalty to Victor driving a wedge between him and Lauren? The young and the restless spoilers and updates suggest that a shocking divorce threat may unsettle Michael Baldwin. Is Michael truly prepared to risk losing Lauren Fenmore Baldwin due to his allegiance to Victor Newman? Lauren's been pushed to the breaking point. Lauren had already reached her limit the last time Michael became entangled in Victor's schemes. Michael has finally stepped back and distanced himself from all the peril, but this decision came at a significant personal expense as it shattered his relationship with Victor. Michael is currently attempting to mend that connection while also protecting Genoa city residents from Kane Ashby. However, Michael encountered a setback when Kane dismissed him, thwarting his infiltration plan, yet it's clear that his allegiance to Victor is strong. In the October 1st episode, Lauren left Michael, which speaks volumes about her frustration with all this dubious information. There always seems to be three people in Lauren's marriage, her, Michael and Victor. Given that Michael always returns to Victor in the end, Lauren believes there are three people in this marriage. She is uncertain how much longer she can endure this situation, and a divorce threat may be on the horizon. Fans of Y&R might witness Lauren directly confronting Michael, insisting that this cannot continue. While one could argue that Y&R is exaggerating Lauren's reaction for the sake of drama, it is evident that she is serious about her feelings. Lauren is at a loss for words or actions to convey just how crucial this matter is to her. Lauren's ultimatum: him or me, who's it going to be? If Michael is not prepared to prioritize Lauren, what does that indicate about their marriage? Lauren will likely ponder this, which could lead her to issue a surprising divorce threat to Michael in the upcoming episodes. It's possible that Lauren will present Michael with an ultimatum, cautioning him that their marriage cannot endure unless he completely severs ties with Victor. While Michael may eventually agree to Lauren's demands, there's also a possibility that she will come to the conclusion that she cannot let Michael go, regardless of how furious she feels towards him. Lauren may just have to accept this is just who Michael is. At some point, Lauren might need to come to terms with the fact that this is simply who Michael is. Newman also disapproves of Victor's behavior, yet she finds it impossible to leave him and has stopped trying at this point in her life. Should it be Lauren who concedes, or is it Michael who should yield instead? Can Michael and Lauren steer clear of divorce despite her overwhelming frustration? The young and the restless spoilers indicate that Lauren and Michael have much to sort out, so stay tuned for updates on their ongoing marital struggles. Chelsea's reward, Mariah's danger, Jill vs. Victor. The young and the restless spoilers are in for the week of October 6, 2025. Fans can expect Chelsea Lawson and Adam Newman, Mark Grossman, to get rewarded. Tessa Porter fears for Mariah Copeland's, Cameron Grimes, safety. Plus, Jill Abbott faces off with Victor Newman, Eric Braeden. Keep reading and let's talk about what is coming up in the CBS soap opera. Mariah Copeland's danger. Let's start off with Mariah. Although separated, Tessa refuses to give up on her wife or partner. The woman is really committed and knows that something just doesn't feel right. After learning that Mariah tried to kill a man, Tessa wants answers. Tessa and Daniel Romalotti, Jr. left to get answers from the hotel room in Boston. When Tessa and Daniel return, they share troubling information with Sharon Newman, Sharon Case. Then, it is stated that Tessa fears for Mariah's safety. Kyle Abbott's mistake. Over with Kyle Abbott, he will continue having tense interactions with Audra Charles, Zuleika Silva. Even though the two claim to hate each other, they do spend a lot of time and energy pushing each other's buttons. Pretty quickly in the week, Kyle and Audra's battle reaches the point of no return. So, we will see what that means. Do they argue, then rip each other's clothes off? Kane Ashby was upset. The young and the restless spoilers for the week of October 6 reveal that Jill and Lily Winters team up. The two ladies will confront Kane Ashby, Billy Flynn, together about his past. Jill and Newman clash later. Then, Jill has a meeting with Victor, where he shares shocking news. Meanwhile, Nikki searches for answers, but about Kane, or is this about Claire Grace Newman, Haley Erin? Jack Abbott has a clever plan in his back pocket. Jack will also pressure Kane to do the right thing. Elsewhere, Newman goes rogue. The man will also inquire about Michelle Stafford's Phyllis Summers. By the end of the week, though, Phyllis gets caught red-handed in a compromising position. What does this mean for her future as well as her alliance with Kane? By Friday, Victor rewards Adam and Chelsea's loyalty. Meanwhile, Danny Romalotti, Michael Damian, and Christine Blair make a big decision about their upcoming wedding. Michael's loyalty to Victor, love, loyalty, and the looming shadow of betrayal. Few relationships have survived the ferocious storms of the young and the restless, ever-evolving and turbulent world like Michael Baldwin and Lauren Fenmore's. Although they were once regarded as one of the most steadfast couples in Genoa City, their bond has recently begun to weaken as a result of their divided loyalties and emotional exhaustion. The current arc, which focuses on Michael's unwavering devotion to Victor Newman, puts their marriage to the test as well as the very foundation of love, trust, identity, and self-sacrifice. What began as professional loyalty has spiraled into emotional neglect, leaving Lauren to confront a painful reality. In her marriage, she's not competing against another woman, but against Victor Newman himself. Lauren Fenmore Baldwin has always been portrayed as a woman of strength, resilience, and fiery passion. Yet beneath her polished exterior lies the heart of someone who has fought tirelessly to maintain her family, her dignity, and her sense of stability amid Genoa City's chaos. Over the years, Lauren has forgiven Michael's moral compromises, his secrecy, and his entanglements in shady dealings. However, things feel different this time. When Michael once again allowed himself to be swept into Victor's dangerous orbit, something inside Lauren snapped. Her patience, long her greatest strength, finally met its breaking point. The burden of devotion and the shadow of Victor Newman. Victor Newman's unwavering loyalty to Michael Baldwin is not new. Their alliance has been forged through years of professional battles, courtroom victories, and moral compromises that blur the lines between right and wrong. Michael has always admired Victor not just for his power, but for his sheer will. To Michael, Victor represents control, strategy, and the kind of ruthless intelligence that once fascinated him as a younger man. But admiration, when unchecked, becomes obsession, and for Lauren, it feels like betrayal disguised as duty. The tragedy of Michael's situation lies in his inability to separate friendship from servitude. Victor doesn't simply ask for loyalty, he demands it, often in ways that compromise those closest to his allies. Every time Victor pulls Michael back into his schemes, it's Lauren who bears the emotional cost. The last time this happened, she nearly lost her husband not because of infidelity, but because of emotional absence. Michael is now drawn back into Victor's world after all of her pleas for peace, putting his marriage and integrity at risk. What makes this dynamic so heartbreaking is that Michael doesn't see himself as the villain. In his mind, he's protecting Genoa City, preserving order, and upholding loyalty to a man who once gave him a second chance. But to Lauren, those noble justifications sound hollow. She doesn't see loyalty, she sees abandonment. She sees a man who cares more about Victor's battles than he does about the woman who sleeps in his bed. Lauren's breaking point, when love feels like loneliness. Lauren's breaking point didn't arrive suddenly, it crept in, quietly, over time. Every unanswered text, every late night spent waiting for Michael to come home from another of Victor's clandestine meetings, chipped away at her sense of security. In the October 1st episode, her decision to walk away from Michael was not impulsive, it was the result of years of unheeded warnings. When she finally left, it was a symbolic act of reclaiming her self-respect. What's tragic is that Lauren still loves Michael deeply. Her anger isn't born from hatred, but from heartbreak. She spent too long feeling like the third wheel in her own marriage, with Victor as the invisible yet ever-present third party. To her, it feels like there are always three people in the room: Lauren, Michael, and Victor. Every conversation circles back to Victor's needs, Victor's plans, Victor's secrets. She has become tired of competing with a man whose power extends far beyond the boardroom into her husband's very conscience. Lauren's anguish reveals a deeper truth about love and loyalty. She doesn't want to control Michael, she wants to be chosen. What she desires most isn't grand gestures or apologies, it's presence. It's knowing that when she speaks, he listens, that when she hurts, he notices. Yet time and again, she watches Michael turn away, prioritizing Victor's trust over her peace. That quiet betrayal cuts deeper than any affair ever could. The ultimatum. Him or me, who's it going to be? Lauren's ultimatum, that Michael must choose between her and Victor, may seem dramatic, but in the emotional landscape of Genoa City, it's a moment of profound realism. When one partner's loyalty to a third party threatens the sanctity of a marriage, boundaries must be drawn. Her ultimatum is not born out of cruelty, it's a desperate plea for survival. She's not asking Michael to abandon his sense of justice, she's asking him to remember that his marriage should not be collateral damage in Victor's endless wars. For Michael, this ultimatum creates an impossible moral crossroads. He feels indebted to Victor, the man who gave him purpose when his own life was unraveling. But that debt has grown poisonous. What began as gratitude has become dependency. Michael now fears that if he defies Victor, he'll lose not just a friend, but a part of himself. Yet, if he continues down this path, he risks losing Lauren, the woman who humanized him, who saw beyond his flaws, and who gave him a family when he thought he didn't deserve one. The question that now defines their story is one of identity. Can Michael Baldwin truly separate who he is from who Victor expects him to be? If he can't, then Lauren's worst fears may soon come true, that she's married to a man who belongs more to Victor's world than to hers. The emotional mirror, Lauren and Nikki's parallel struggles. In an intriguing parallel, Lauren's emotional turmoil mirrors Nikki Newman's own decades-long struggle with Victor's domineering influence. Both women love men who are consumed by loyalty to Victor, one directly, one indirectly. Nikki has long accepted that Victor will never fully change. His need for control and power is as much a part of him as breathing. Over the years, she has learned to survive within his orbit, even if it means sacrificing her own peace for the illusion of stability. Lauren, however, is not ready to surrender in the same way. She refuses to normalize emotional neglect or make peace with being second. Her pain reflects a younger Nikki, a woman still capable of demanding more from love. But as time passes, one wonders if Lauren might eventually face the same resigned fate, loving a man whose loyalty to Victor will always outweigh his loyalty to her. The writers of The Young and the Restless have brilliantly crafted this dynamic to reflect the cyclical nature of emotional dependency. Genoa City is filled with characters trapped in patterns of loyalty, betrayal, forgiveness, and relapse. Michael and Lauren's current arc is not just about one marriage in crisis, it's about the generational curse of power and devotion that Victor Newman has cast across the entire canvas of the show. Michael's guilt and the cost of silence. Despite his outward calm, Michael Baldwin is a man haunted by guilt. Every time Lauren's eyes fill with disappointment, he feels it, but instead of confronting it, he buries it under layers of justification. He tells himself he's doing the right thing. He convinces himself that his secrecy protects her. Yet, deep down, he knows he's losing her piece by piece. The silence between them has grown deafening, and in that silence, resentment festers. What makes Michael's guilt so tragic is that it's not malicious. He genuinely believes he's doing what's best for everyone. But as any seasoned Y&R fan knows, good intentions often pave the road to heartbreak. His inability to step away from Victor's gravitational pull is a reflection of his own insecurity, a belief that without Victor's validation, he's not powerful enough, not relevant enough. It's a flaw rooted in years of feeling like an outsider, even within his own success story. Lauren can see past that. She understands that her husband's loyalty to Victor isn't just professional, it's psychological. And that's what scares her most. How do you compete with a man's need to prove himself? How do you fight a battle against your husband's own reflection? Divorce or redemption, the road ahead. If Lauren truly follows through on her threat of divorce, the fallout will be explosive. It would not only end one of the longest marriages in Genoa City, but it would also force Victor to face the consequences of his manipulations. For decades, Victor has treated the lives of those around him like chess pieces, but if Michael loses his marriage because of him, the guilt could ripple through Newman Enterprises and beyond. However, there is still some, albeit dim, hope that this crisis might lead to redemption. Perhaps this is the moment where Michael finally recognizes that loyalty without boundaries is not devotion, but destruction. Maybe he'll realize that true strength doesn't lie in obedience to Victor, but in courage to protect his own heart and home. And perhaps, just perhaps, Lauren will see in his eyes the remorse she's been waiting for, the kind that comes not from fear of losing her, but from the understanding that he already has. The broader tapestry, how this storyline reflects Genoa City's themes. The brilliance of this storyline lies in how it weaves into the broader themes of the young and the restless: power, loyalty, family, and self-worth. From Chelsea and Adam's volatile romance to Jill's never-ending struggle with Victor, every major storyline in Genoa City revolves around these same questions. What does loyalty cost? How much of yourself should you give before there's nothing left? Just as Chelsea finds herself torn between love and survival, and Jill continues to confront Victor over business and legacy, Michael and Lauren's struggle represents the emotional cost of those wars. They're not fighting for companies or fortunes, they're fighting for peace, for connection, for identity in a world where loyalty is currency and love is collateral. Conclusion: love in the shadow of loyalty. As the storyline unfolds, viewers are left to ponder the painful truth at the heart of Michael and Lauren's marriage: love alone is not enough. Trust, time, and choice are the pillars that sustain a partnership, and without them, even the deepest bond can crumble. Michael must decide whether his loyalty to Victor defines him, or whether his love for Lauren can redeem him. For Lauren, the question is equally devastating. How long can she love a man who constantly prioritizes another person's conflicts over her own? Will she walk away, or will she, like Nikki before her, learn to live with the ache of being second to Victor Newman's empire? The future of Michael and Lauren's marriage hangs in the balance, not because of betrayal in the traditional sense, but because of the quieter, more insidious betrayal of neglect. Their love story, which was once a symbol of redemption, is now on the verge of being disappointing. And yet, in true young and the restless fashion, it's precisely at this breaking point that hope may re-emerge. Because sometimes, in Genoa City, the most powerful love stories are not the ones that avoid pain, but the ones that survive it. Chelsea's reward, Mariah's danger, Jill versus Victor. A week of reckonings in Genoa City. The week of October 6, 2025, on the young and the restless promises to be one of seismic emotional tremors and moral confrontations. Secrets will surface, loyalties will fracture, and old alliances will be tested in ways that could alter the future of several Genoa City families. As the drama unfolds, we see a landscape where every smile hides suspicion, and every promise carries the weight of a hidden agenda. This week, Chelsea Lawson and Adam Newman stand on the edge of a long-desired reward, one that could symbolize redemption or merely a momentary illusion of victory. Across town, Tessa Porter's fears for Mariah Copeland spark a desperate search for truth and safety, a race against the shadows of mental turmoil and manipulation. Meanwhile, Jill Abbott once again proves she's a titan unwilling to bow before any man, not even the unshakable Victor Newman, as the two titans of business and legacy clash in a battle that could shift the power balance of Genoa City itself. Beneath these surface tensions lies an intricate web of deception, guilt, and ambition, woven from the broken pieces of past mistakes. Every choice made this week will have ripples across marriages, friendships, and even corporate empires. Mariah Copeland's danger, the heartbeat of desperation. Mariah Copeland, a woman whose spiral into danger, both external and psychological, is at the heart of the week's emotions. Mariah has always stood out among the chaos that surrounds her family as the steady, grounded individual, despite her past struggles with mental health and trauma. But this time, she's lost in a maze of fear, guilt, and blurred reality. The shocking revelation that Mariah tried to kill a man shakes everyone who loves her. Tessa Porter, her estranged wife, refuses to accept the simple story being painted. Tessa is aware of Mariah's heart, which is one that is too hurt and compassionate to resort to cold-blooded, irrational violence. One of the most moving scenes of the week is her refusal to give up on Mariah even though they are still apart. The story is both intriguing and touching because of her collaboration with Daniel Romalotti, Jr. in the investigation of what actually transpired in that Boston hotel room. The two uncover troubling information, enough to terrify Tessa and make her race back to Sharon Newman, desperate for help. The fear in Tessa's voice as she confides in Sharon suggests that Mariah may not just be guilty of something, she might be in serious danger herself, trapped by forces manipulating her memory or forcing her hand. It's a plot line that blends psychological thriller with emotional tragedy. For longtime viewers, This echoes Mariah's earlier traumas, from being kidnapped by Ian Ward to her internal battles with self-worth and identity. The possibility that she's once again caught in a web of coercion raises chilling questions. Is Mariah protecting someone? Or has someone else been using her as a pawn? As Tessa and Sharon join forces to uncover the truth, the story becomes a testament to love's endurance even in estrangement. For Tessa, her unwavering commitment to finding Mariah not only redeems her past mistakes but also solidifies her identity as a fighter, a woman who refuses to let love die quietly. By midweek, whispers spread across Genoa City. If Mariah is indeed responsible for violence, what pushed her to that point? And if she isn't, who's pulling the strings behind this dangerous narrative? The era of Kyle Abbott, power and passion collide. Meanwhile, tension builds to the point of chaos in the turbulent world of Kyle Abbott and Audra Charles. Their interactions have long walked a razor's edge, the perfect blend of professional rivalry and irresistible chemistry. Despite their assertion that they hate one another, it is evident that passion simmers just below the surface and is too ferocious to be contained by logic. This week, their ongoing battle escalates to the point of no return. Every word exchanged drips with venom, yet beneath it lies undeniable attraction. As history has often shown in Genoa City, when hatred simmers long enough, it inevitably turns to heat, the kind that destroys reputations and relationships alike. Kyle's biggest mistake isn't his anger or pride, it's his inability to control his impulses when emotions run high. Audra, cunning and perceptive, knows exactly how to push his buttons, exploiting both his arrogance and his longing for validation. The possibility that their next argument ends not with words but with passion, that infamous ripping clothes off moment, feels almost inevitable. But in soap opera fashion, every forbidden indulgence has consequences. If Kyle crosses this line, the fallout could destroy not only his fragile truce with Summer Newman but also his standing at Jabot. Worse still, Audra's loyalty is as unpredictable as her temper. What starts as a reckless affair could quickly morph into a power play, with Kyle trapped in a scandal that could make him the next Abbott to lose everything. Jill and Lily confront Kane, reckoning with the past. Jill Abbott and Lily Winters team up to confront Kane Ashby about his past in a storyline that is full of tension and quest for the truth. Their alliance, unexpected yet powerful, marks a rare moment where two women from different generations and experiences come together with a shared goal: accountability. Kane's past has always been a complicated puzzle filled with deception, redemption arcs, and a constant struggle for integrity. While he's spent years trying to prove himself a better man, Jill and Lily's intervention suggests that something unresolved has resurfaced, perhaps an old secret or betrayal demanding closure. Jill, who has always been a powerful matriarch, won't let Kane hide behind tricks or excuses. She's protective of her family, but even more protective of truth. Her confrontation with him is direct, biting, and laced with that classic Jill fire, the kind that once built and nearly destroyed empires. Lily, on the other hand, brings emotional intelligence and empathy, challenging Kane to face not just what he's done, but who he's become. Later in the week, Newman also steps into the fray, facing off against Jill, a battle of two formidable women whose decades of experience make every glance feel like a duel. The tension is palpable because Jill embodies grit, ambition, and survival while Nikki represents old-world restraint and social polish. Their verbal sparring hints that the conflict extends beyond personal grievances, perhaps tied to corporate secrets or a dangerous truth about Claire Grace Newman. By the end of their encounters, nothing remains the same. Jill walks away shaken but resolute, Nikki leaves with questions she's desperate to answer, and Kane finds himself cornered by both the past and present. Jack Abbott's trick and Kane's pressure point. While family turmoil brews, Jack Abbott quietly moves his chess pieces behind the scenes. As one of Genoa City's most seasoned strategists, Jack knows when to play his cards close, and this week, he's hiding something significant. He's reportedly holding a trick up his sleeve, one that could influence not only Kane's future but the entire balance of power at Jabot. Whether it's a document, a deal, or a manipulation of loyalty, Jack's move seems designed to pressure Kane into doing the right thing. What's fascinating here is Jack's evolving moral compass. Once defined by rivalry and ego, he now appears to be channeling his experience into measured strategy. But as always, in Jack's world, even the best intentions can blur into manipulation. This trick could be the start of a new Abbott family divide, especially if Kyle's volatile behavior becomes another liability. The Abbott men are once again at a crossroads, and Jack may be forced to choose between protecting his legacy and saving his son from himself. Phyllis Summers caught red-handed. Phyllis Summers, as usual, finds herself at the center of a scandal. This week, her risky alliance with Kane backfires when she's caught red-handed in a compromising situation. Whether it's tied to business sabotage or emotional betrayal, the revelation threatens to destroy what little trust she's rebuilt. Phyllis, ever the firebrand, has a knack for attracting chaos, and this moment could be her latest downfall. Nick Newman's growing suspicion only fuels the drama, especially when his investigation leads him closer to uncovering the truth she's been hiding. Phyllis' dynamic with Kane adds another layer. Their partnership, forged in mutual ambition and distrust, may have crossed into dangerous territory. If she's caught scheming on his behalf, both could face public humiliation or legal jeopardy. By week's end, Phyllis' world teeters on collapse once again, but in true Phyllis fashion, she might just turn exposure into opportunity. Her talent for reinvention has always been her greatest weapon. Victor Newman versus Jill Abbott, titans collide. Victor Newman and Jill Abbott, two legends whose names define power in Genoa City, fought in perhaps the most riveting confrontation of the week. Their meeting begins as a discussion, but quickly transforms into a war of words and willpower. Victor shares shocking news during their encounter, news so disruptive that even Jill, who prides herself on control, is momentarily speechless. Whether this revelation pertains to Kane, a business merger, or a deeper Newman secret remains uncertain. But one thing is clear, Victor's move is strategic, not emotional. Their dynamic is a masterclass in tension, with Victor's unstoppable power fighting off against Jill's stubbornness. Both have built empires, both have clawed their way from the bottom, and neither is willing to yield an inch. What makes this clash particularly thrilling is its ambiguity. Is Victor testing Jill's loyalty, offering her partnership, or issuing a veiled threat? Jill's responses, sharp, measured, and edged with disdain, show she's no longer intimidated by Newman power. The meeting is all set up for a corporate Cold War by the end. Additionally, personal enmities frequently develop out of business rivalries in Genoa City. Chelsea and Adam's reward, redemption or ruin? As the week concludes, Victor rewards Chelsea Lawson and Adam Newman for their loyalty. On the surface, it seems like a rare moment of triumph, a long-awaited acknowledgement from Victor that his son's efforts have meaning. It shows Chelsea that her trust in Adam was not misplaced. But rewards from Victor Newman rarely come without strings attached. Beneath the smiles and celebratory words, there's a lingering unease. Has Victor truly forgiven Adam's past betrayals? Or is this reward part of a larger manipulation to ensure Adam remains under his control? For Chelsea, the situation is equally complex. Her partnership with Adam has always been fueled by both love and shared dysfunction. Though they've rebuilt trust in recent months, their history of deception and heartbreak makes it impossible to relax fully. Still, there's something poetic in seeing them, even briefly, on the same side. Chelsea, once tormented and broken, now stands as a woman regaining her strength. Adam, forever torn between rebellion and approval, finally glimpses acceptance. Yet, as longtime viewers know, in The Young and the Restless, happiness is fleeting, especially when it comes from Victor's hand. Danny and Christine, love finds its way home. Amid all the chaos, Danny Romalotti and Christine Blair provide a rare breath of warmth and nostalgia. Their decision to move forward with their wedding represents not just personal joy but the persistence of love that endures across decades. Their storyline balances the darkness surrounding Mariah, Kane, and Victor with light, a reminder that Genoa City, for all its turbulence, still holds room for hope. Their love story is quieter but no less meaningful, a mirror for the fans who've followed them through every twist since the 1980s.